Now, were you working with that unit on January 29, 2020?
Yes, I was, sir.
And at some point in the afternoon on that day, we were contacted by Lieutenant Brian Tully in the station.
Yes, at 2:32 p.m., Lieutenant Tully gave me a phone call.
Now, as far as Lieutenant Tully is concerned, were you familiar with him, or were you familiar with what units he supervises?
Yes, I know he's the supervisor for the Norfolk County State Police Detective Unit.
Following that initial conversation, did Lieutenant Tully reach back out to you at some point?
Yeah, I'm not positive if he called me or if I called him. I think after I'd cleared my driveway, I spoke to my captain just to make sure, see what the status was on the approval process on our end. He said we were cleared on our end. So either Lieutenant Tully called me or I may have called him because I was getting nervous that now that my driveway was clear that the town plow was going to come back and bury the end of my driveway again. So I'm not sure who called who, but I called him and told him we were cleared through the Division of Field Services. He also told me that we were cleared on his end. The approval requests have been approved.
And do you know approximately what time of day it was when you had that second conversation with Lieutenant Tully?
It's probably about 3:45 because we sent out an alert to our team at 3:48 telling them that we were authorized to respond to Canton.
What time was it that you left, or how long did it take you to get from your home to 34th Street?
Well, like I stated, the alert went out authorizing the team to start responding at 3:48. I got the exact address via text from Lieutenant Tully at 4:10. We sent out another alert message at 4:17, just reminding people to bring shovels, brooms, rakes, etc. I left my house at 4:13 in the afternoon, and I got on scene at 4:56, so it took me 43 minutes to drive there.
And getting to that in a moment, when you first arrived on scene, I think anyone else preceded your arrival? Who was on scene with that?
Just one other trooper from SERT, Trooper Jay Bousselet, was on scene. I believe he arrived 2 minutes prior to my arrival.
And Lieutenant Rao, when you arrived on scene, where did you park in relation to the house, and where was Trooper Bousselet in relation to that?
Trooper Bousselet was just past the driveway of the house, so just north of the driveway. I parked almost at the end of the driveway of 34 Fairview.
And you recall at some point your attention was directed to an area with a flagpole and fire hydrant, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And do you recall which direction either or both of your vehicle and Bousselet's vehicle were facing when you parked in that area of the driveway?
We were facing away from the flagpole originally. Eventually, we moved Trooper Bousselet's vehicle back towards the flagpole. Just we wanted some extra headlights to light up the scene, the area we would be working in.
Now, Lieutenant Tully, was he on scene when you arrived?
He was not.
And at some point, did you reach out to him?
Yes, I gave him a call. He stated he was just leaving. Canton PD would be on scene in about 5 minutes. That was probably around 5 o'clock.
Now, as far as the house that you were parked in front of and as far as the residences on that street, who, if anyone else, as far as neighbors or anything like that, or people from the house did you see outside of the house at any point in time?
We didn't see anyone outside the houses. A resident of 34 Fairview exited briefly after we were first on scene. That was the only person we saw.
And as far as Lieutenant Tully arrived on scene around 5, at some point did he, what if anything, where did he direct you to?
He had instructed us that the death investigation involved a motor vehicle. He told us where the motor vehicle was believed to have been parked and wanted us to search from that area south towards the flagpole fire hydrant. We gridded off or marked off the area Lieutenant Tully thought would be the best area for us to search. So we had a starting point and an end point. Once all the members got on scene, we set up a line search, or what we would call a grid search, which again would just be a slow, methodical search with all of us working in unison, moving through the area.
And about how big an area was it that you initially sort of set out to see?
It was just over 50 feet, I believe, from the front door, which is the left door, looking at the house from the street, to the fire hydrant. I believe it was 59 feet.
Was that length or width?
That is length.
And as far as the width of the area that you were searching, about what kind of area were you searching?
It's about 3 to 4 feet was the snow drift coming off the curb.
Now, as as far as the information that you received prior to conducting the search, were there any items that were specifically identified as far as items that you might be looking for, or what, if anything, was given you in relation to that?
Yeah, Lieutenant Tully had informed us that the victim, in this case, was struck by a vehicle. He believed there would be broken pieces of taillight in the area. He also stated the victim was missing his sneaker. So he asked us to search for both of those items.
And sir, at some point, did you ask Lieutenant Tully any questions about the vehicle in question or anything in relation to that?
After we had found one or two of the pieces of the taillight, I asked him if he knew how much damage was to the taillight, or if he had a photo that we could get of the taillight.
And what, if anything, did he tell you?
He told us at that time the vehicle was being towed back to Canton PD, so he did not have a photo to show us.
And at any point, did he make any reference to who was coming along with the tow at Canton PD?
He said Sergeant Buchanan and Trooper Proctor were following the vehicle back to Canton PD.
You mentioned an alert that was sent out to troopers as far as to rank certain items. Can you describe for the jury sort of the process and what, if any, tools or implements you use and sort of how that search was done?
So like I said, we moved Trooper Boussolet's vehicle to face the scene to give us some extra, use his headlights for extra lighting for the scene. All the team members also put on a headlamp, which would basically just be like a hiking headlamp. We all had shovels. We had a couple of rakes, the smaller garden rakes, just to kind of help us sift through the snow. And I also had a small push broom to move the snow around as well.
As you mentioned, sort of the headlamps and moving the vehicle as far as the headlights on the area that you were searching. What was the visibility and what was the lighting conditions around that area at that time when we conducted it?
It was poor lighting. There really wasn't much as far as what we felt enough for street lighting, but with the headlamps, we had decent visibility.
So when you first arrived on scene about 4:53 p.m. or so, was it dark out there?
Yes, it was, sir.
It remained dark while you were still on scene?
Yes, sir.
And in the area that you were looking, in your testimony, there wasn't much overhead sort of ambient lighting or street lighting in that area, as far as you recall?
Nothing that really helped the search.
So the area that you were searching was in the area of the fire hydrant, is that correct?
We started almost directly across from the front door and moved south towards Chapman Street, towards the fire hydrant.
And to be clear, as far as the area that you were searching with shovels and the other different implements to sort of sift through the snow, where was your focus as far as the street versus the front wall?
Our right flank was on the curb, and then we moved out across the street from there. So we were lined almost shoulder to shoulder as we moved south through the area we were searching.
And so as far as this search was concerned, about how long a period of time was it that you were on scene as far as searching and how long process was done?
After Lieutenant Tully showed up, kind of informed us where we were going to search, we moved Trooper Boussolet's vehicle at 5:20, and that's when the rest of the team started to show up right around 5:21, 5:24. A couple other members with extended response time showed up a little bit after that, but all members were on scene by 5:41. We had already started the process before they had all arrived on scene, and we were complete by 6:15. We started to wrap up and clear the area.
And as far as the wrapping up, how was that decision arrived at, and sort of what led to that decision?
So after we found the sneaker and a couple additional pieces of taillight, we moved south for, let's say, over 5 feet, maybe closer to 8 to 10 feet, without finding any other pieces of evidence. So Lieutenant Tully and I had a conversation. He was very satisfied that we had found everything we were going to locate at that time, and we decided to suspend the search.